peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
A very good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining us. This is the People's Court. My name is Miriam Mugutu, and as usual, we're coming to you from Kenya's capital here in Nairobi, and our topic of the day: to lift or not to lift the night curfew there as the country awaits President Uhuru Kenyatta's Friday's address. Kenyans are waiting to see whether the government will decide for lives to go back as normal and lift up the curfew, and or just to still have the measures in place to help in curbing COVID-19, even as the country faces a third wave. As we've seen yesterday, I was watching some local news where even the numbers of the people in the ICUs have increased in the recent past. So there is a cause for worry. So President Uhuru Kenyatta has a lot to consider and a very delicate balance there to consider. Joining me in this conversation this morning is Professor Jared Onyari. Professor, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Miriam, Dr. Masanga, Douglas, and the rest of our viewers from wherever they are.
Very well. And we are also...
As well as Musa.
Good morning to you, Professor, and karibu sana. And we're also joined by Douglas Kirimi. Douglas, good morning.
A very good morning to you, Miriam Ogutu, to our crew, and also to Professor Jared Onyari, Dr. David Matsanga from the Political Command Center in London, and also to Musa Galmadido.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. We're also joined by Musa. I know he's setting up. I don't know if Musa, good morning. All right, we shall wait for Musa to set up and join us, and while he does that, I'll be reading from page 10 of the Daily Nation. And before I get into this conversation of to lift night curfew or not, our president's catch-22 situation, the story is on page 10 of the Daily Nation today. There is a story just down below that story. Maybe we need to talk about this before we get to that, because they're connected. Where Catholic clergy differ with doctors on COVID-19 vaccines, the Catholic Church has distanced itself from calls by doctors practicing the faith who urged Kenyans not to rush into being vaccinated against COVID-19. The Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops urged the faithful willing to be vaccinated against the virus to do so. We make it clear that the recent statement by the Kenya Catholic Doctors Association was not made on behalf of the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops. The doctors cannot and should not speak in the name of the Catholic Church. Reverend Philip Anyolo said in a statement. He added that those not being vaccinated must avoid becoming vehicles for transmission of the virus. We note that vaccination can only be voluntary at the discretion of an individual after giving informed consent. We appeal to Kenyans to accept the COVID-19 vaccine in light of the assurance given by the Ministry of Health. Professor, I'd like to get your reaction to this story.
Miriam, yeah, it is good. You saw the other day that old mama from Eldoret was asking where is the church? Where is the Catholic Church to pronounce itself? And Miriam, when it comes to issues, topical issues, current issues, the way forward to be, you can't ignore the Catholic Church. You know that. One of the things you need to understand about the Catholic Church, Miriam, the Catholic Church is a government by itself. You understand that? Mm-hmm. The Pope, as God, is representative in every nation. So, Miriam, you do not ignore. You do not ignore what the church is speaking, especially the Catholic Church. Particularly, Miriam, one Sunday they will read one pastoral letter for everybody else, and they will have all the information, and you cannot be able to change. And what you need to do, like Miriam, if you are a teacher and you are teaching your child, and they will tell you, oh, teacher does not tell us like this. He doesn't like tell like this. So what if you want to change the thinking and the perception of your child, Miriam? You go and tell the teacher that when I was going through with this child, I found these difficulties. Can you look at it? And the teacher will just give your child the same information and the child will take it. Why am I saying so, Miriam? We need to have the Catholic Church on board when it comes to campaign against COVID-19. Even the interfaith medium, it is being chaired by a Catholic bishop, Bishop Zil Muheria from Nyeri. So from where I sit, and even the Archbishop Anyoro was very careful. He did not contradict, because he said they have been advised by the experts that it should be very frontally, so that the vaccination can be carried on. And we did say in this show, Miriam, that we should spend more time and more energy, even using all the means we can use, the local vernacular. We translate this to the village so that people can be able to understand. So you know where we come from, and wherever you know the fear we are having. And I've told you, Miriam, even it could have not been that I'm a regular traveler, I may decide to do the otherwise, but I cannot say it from this Bunch African TV show. So Miriam, I'm happy, and I hope that this is a conversation. And Miriam, we are at war. So we cannot be like President Magufuli. You say is what he talks about COVID, and the regrets are very serious. So the Catholic Church is very careful. They may tell their faithful, don't go and take it, and the effects are very, very disastrous. And as you can see here, Miriam, I was listening to the news yesterday. The ICU beds in Nairobi are complete. And Miriam, we are heading to the third wave. So Miriam, that's how we are. The Catholic Church is the leadership are Kenyans. We need to have our put our heads together. And as you normally say, let us not leave anyone behind. Let every Kenyan have the information.
Thank you. Douglas, the confusion between the Catholic bishops and the doctors allied to the Catholic faith. The doctors, who we assume know better about science and all these things, are saying, no, don't go for that vaccine. And the Catholic leadership in the country, the bishops, they're saying, Kenyan, if you want to go for the vaccine, you should. What do you make of this story?
Thank you, Miriam. I sometimes run away from criticizing the Catholic Church. I'm a Catholic, I'm a Roman Catholic, but our church is wrong on that, and giving cautions to the people of Kenya about the vaccine, whereas we know bishops are getting vaccinated at night, leaders are getting vaccinated at night. It is only for the poor people that Miriam cannot access these vaccines. Who they want now, they don't want them go vaccinated. It all goes also to what our political leaders are doing, especially some leaders from this region. You tell people there is no corona and everything, but when you get sick, you access the best medical care in the world at Nairobi Hospital, whereas your people are dying. So the bishops at the Catholic Church are hypocrites, and they are trying to run away from the reality, Miriam, because one thing we need to see is that these our leaders, bishops, have the Catholic coffers that they can access the best medical care in the world. They can even go to Italy. They can go to any country in the world, these bishops. But what they are telling people and cautioning us, and the doctors have said this vaccine is good. Governors are receiving the vaccine. Some politicians, we have information, they received the vaccine long time ago. As they interact with the people, they are vaccinated. So Miriam, we need to also see what the evangelicals are doing as Catholic Church. The evangelicals, the bishops, and also archbishops are going out there and picking the vaccine and saying, this does not say that we have no faith. No, we should separate matters of faith and this vaccine, Miriam. And also the science should have its place, and also faith should have its place. So bishops should leave people alone and stop issuing these threats and also press conferences. There is no one that is interested in these things, Miriam. Because when you caution the population
Douglas, we have to make it very clear. The bishops are encouraging the Catholic faithfuls to go for these vaccines if somebody wants to do. But the doctors who are under the Catholic Church are saying no. The bishops don't have a problem.
Sorry, Miriam, I am a misunderstanding of that. So okay. These doctors also, I'm used to Catholic Church opposing everything
Douglas, Yes. Douglas, let me just help you, because you have got a very good point. What Douglas is trying to say that the church should not, when you tell you go and go, there is no committal. What Douglas is saying is that they want the Catholic Church to be committed, and he professes the faith of the Catholic Church.
Okay.
He's saying that it is good. When you are telling that it is just like you are not advising, you are not offering leadership.
All right.
Go on, Douglas.
Okay, go
And,
ahead,
and
Douglas.
again, Miriam, thank you, Professor, and thank you, Miriam, for bringing me on the line. I thought it's the bishops because we have the tendency in Catholic Church of opposing everything that comes around. But we need to also caution our doctors, the doctors that are affiliated to the Catholic Church. When people are receiving this vaccine across the world, why would we isolate this issue on the Catholic Church and also tell and advise people don't rush picking the vaccine? People need the vaccine, Miriam. If I know the next tomorrow, this afternoon, that there is somewhere they are vaccinating people, I'll go myself and get my family vaccinated and get everyone on board vaccinated, Miriam, because we are fighting an health emergency. These issues of these doctors trying to move the church from one side to another, the church should also decide to let the people go and receive the vaccine, Miriam, because it is about our lives. When we get sick, Miriam, it is no longer a church issue. It is the issue that should be handled individually. We have had a president who is in hospital today. As an individual, he is fighting for his life. 2 former presidents have died because of COVID in our region, Miriam. When they died, it is their family that suffered the brunt of their deaths. And what I'm saying in our Catholic Church, we should not have the division between bishops are pro-vaccine and also doctors are saying don't rush picking the vaccine. No, Miriam, we have to face the consequences and take the risk and take the vaccine, because, Miriam, when we get sick, the church will not only come to barriers and will not be concerned about our life. Because, Miriam, when we get into problems as Catholic Church members, because we listen to our doctors, the evangelicals are receiving vaccines day and night, and when their lives are saved, Miriam, and when we die, there is nothing changes, Miriam. Life will move on. So we need to save ourselves from these doctors from the Catholic Church and get ourselves moving forward, Miriam, as a church and also as a nation, Miriam. This is not a matter of church and also these doctors advising us. Doctors across the world have approved the vaccine. Why would someone advise the Oroi, the poor people in the Catholic Church not to receive the vaccine? We must receive the vaccine.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I'm glad that you're here and you're Catholic, so we're able to hear, the voice of that representation very clearly. Thank you so much, Douglas, for that. I really appreciate. Now, according to the Catholic doctors, the vaccination is not necessary. Dr. Stephen Karanja appealed to Kenyans not to take the vaccine, saying it should not be distributed in the first place. Jevan Karanja.
Thank you. Thank you, Miriam. And let me say, before I get to matter Catholics and the doctors who are afraid to Catholic faith, Miriam, we have a lot of misinformation and misconception going around, not only in social media, but here in the ground. People are not, they are not in the know of why they need to take the vaccine. And the rumors have it that when you take the vaccine, maybe it will not protect you, but rather it will cause you more damage than benefit. Therefore, the government now should come out clearly and make Kenyans understand why they need this vaccine in the first place. Because, Miriam, I heard somebody asking, the vaccine they are talking about, when you get the disease, you have 80% chances of getting well. Why do we need the vaccine when we can protect ourselves from this COVID-19? Therefore, Miriam, there is a lot of issues that is going around, and the government should come out clearly, as they have done with PBI. Let them come to a radio station, our TV station, and we do away with this politics, and we bring professionals who will educate Kenyans so that we can get the right information, Miriam, so that when we go to this vaccine, because it's a voluntary, and Miriam, why is it voluntary in the first place? If it should be mandatory or no vaccine, because when you give the room for voluntary, that is where the church, that is where the elites are taking advantage of confusing their flock, of confusing their congregation. And therefore, I want to see in future, Miriam, a government coming and giving us a good information quite clearly.
Right.
On the issue of Catholic, issue of Catholic, Miriam, this is not the first time. The Catholic faiths, we have been treated to a lot of dramas in this country. I remember sometimes back they urged their congregation not to take to use the family plannings, not to take some drugs because of their disadvantages and healthy strains and so on. But all said and done, Miriam, we need to have a room for science and to understand that there's something that cannot be healed by faith. Miriam, the doctors who are doing their work today, it is God who have given them the knowledge and understanding and to come up with this vaccine. It is not through prayers. Therefore, we should give a room for prayers and give room for vaccine. Therefore, I think the confusion that we have is out of ignorance, because we are not giving the right information, and the pastors have not created a room where they can expound these things to their congregation by advising them that there are some things that you can hear through prayers faithfully, and there are some things that you need to do and get some medication for you to get well. Miriam, we have also seen in this country people abstaining from taking their children for immunization simply because they subscribe to certain faiths. Therefore, these things of faith, Miriam, should have their place in the society. Science should have its place in society, and everything should have its rightful place in the society, so that we avoid this kind of confusion. But all said and done, Miriam, from where I sit and maybe from where you sit, Miriam, there are Kenyans who are yet to decide whether they will take the vaccine or they will not take the vaccine. I think that confusion will be cleared by government, because government is a body that has power over the church. It has power over everybody else, because they govern the church and they govern everybody else. I think that should be left to government, not to doctors, not to the Catholics, not to the evangelical, but the government should come in place and take their rightful position by enlightening Kenyans on why they need to take the vaccine and to protect themselves from the effects and to curb the spread of COVID-19. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very strong thoughts there from Chevan Karanja. Yes, the government has power over everything, but also the government has been very respectful on our religious, different religious sectors in this country. But I think the one thing that I've heard from the people, the panelists that have spoken this morning, is the lack of clarity and the messaging by the government. As much as the government would like to come out and say it is mandatory for everybody to go and get vaccinated, we have to remember how many vaccines were we given? About 1.2 million vaccines that were Kenya was given. So that is not enough. So if the government went ahead and said everybody has to go and get vaccinated, if all Kenyans showed up in these centers, we will not have enough. So I think that is why the government has not made it mandatory. But I agree with you, the messaging has to be very clear. Ikwe mandatory kama huduma namba. Sindio Musa? Musa, this confusion by the Catholic Church.
I think, Miriam, it's only in Africa whereby, issues of theology come so thick and fast when it is about their health. While, when you're speaking about issues of, development, how I wish our African leaders will care the same about the source of money they get, the source of corruption, corrupt deals, and these involvement of, drug lords and, human trafficking. How I wish people will be concerned on the source of the money, the same way they are concerned with the source of the vaccine, Miriam. And maybe we could have been so proud if indeed Africa produced this vaccine. But unfortunately, this vaccine has came from Miriam, the global owners produced this vaccine. And so we don't have the legitimacy or, the authority to choose or not to choose, Miriam. And I'm really shocked that how I wish our leaders, be it Muslims or Christians, Miriam, can bring the aspect of theology and religion when there is corruption. They bring the aspect of religion and theology when there is theft of money, abuse of power, misuse of office. But where do you see them, Miriam? They are silent on this. But unfortunately now it is vaccine. Someone cares so much about their health. It is so sarcastic, Miriam. As Muslims, we usually say, people nowadays care so much about lawful. They care so much about lawful food than a lawful income, Miriam. And so this is a human nature, and things come and go. How I wish this was in 1918, and if Dr. Matsanga is here, the advent of plague killing people. I don't know if people, the Catholics and the Muslims will come out and say, for your safety, you don't take the drugs. And it is between your life and death, Miriam. People are dying. The other day, America just decided to downscale on their reportings of this COVID-19 deaths. Up to now, more than 1,000 people are dying daily in America. They advise to the likes of CNN, MSNBC, and ABC News Channel that to motivate people, avoid making these figures overrating these figures, over informing people, making it all the time known to people. Things are coming and going. Miriam, the other day we lost the president for Burundi. So these things are real. Me, even if the sheikh will come and tell me, you know, you Haji, don't take it. It comes in a time, Miriam, you are told as a Muslim, you are not allowed to take a pork meat, but you can be allowed to take a pork meat when it is the only food available, Miriam. And that should not be an issue of questioning theology or whether someone should take it or someone should leave this vaccine, Miriam. Let us take it. And even, I'm not waiting for the president, Miriam. The president shall not come to my burial and funeral when I will die from COVID-19. So this is a personal question, Miriam.
Okay. All right. Very well. Professor, close this for us. These Catholic doctors saying the vaccines are not necessary. They urged faith-based organization to stop administering the vaccines, saying the virus can only be controlled by wearing face masks, streaming of symptomatic patients, treatment, and ensuring the patients are observed for 10 to 14 days. So they're saying the vaccines that the scientists have been, working hard to get for the last 1 year, they're saying that is not even necessary, and they're doctors.
Miriam,
is this irresponsible on their part?
You can gauge from the panelists that we are for the people to get the vaccine. And what we should be able to do is they should be asking for the government to afford more vaccine to the country so that Kenyans will just benefit of it. Miriam, sometimes which I do not understand, these are medical doctors, Miriam, again. If it could have been us here trying to gamble around Miriam and have doubts, Miriam. And Miriam, just hear this. It is mandatory, Miriam, for the earth workers of this country, for the teachers in this country, and for the police in this country to undergo, because the 1.125, which came for this group. And Miriam, which government? Just let us try to imagine, Miriam. Because sometimes now, this is the time now we need to use logic. This is the time now we have to engage our thinking, Miriam. Which government, which doctors, Miriam? These are the medical doctors, Miriam. These are medical researchers in our country. If the vaccine is not safe, Miriam, they accept to be taken, and then we don't take it, Miriam. It doesn't make any sense. Those are well-informed persons, and Miriam, if it is not, if it is not safe, then they could not take it. They have Googled, and they have shared all the information from around the world. So from where I sit, Miriam, I'm saying that the government should take the lead, just like Chairman was trying to say, that more information should be available to Kenyans, so that when the doses comes here, they're going to arrive in May. There will be around 3 million doses, which will come, Miriam. We will, so that we can be able to benefit from it. Mm-hmm. So, what we need to do now here is that let us not leave anyone behind. We are doing our civic duty, Miriam, to appeal to Kenyans that this is the best way to go, Miriam. Then we will be fearing God, because we did pray for the medicine and for the doses to be discovered, Miriam, and God has granted us our prayer, Miriam. And I liked one of the panelists. I don't know whether it was Musa who said that when it comes to your personal hygiene, your personal health, Miriam, it belongs to you. What the grudge people don't need to do, Miriam, is to come and send you off. And it is not a mandatory that they come. So, Miriam, on this, we are at war. And when we are at war, whether medical war, physical war, military war, Miriam, let us not leave anyone behind. Let us ask the government to take the lead in having the information be fed. And this is where the civil society needs to come in, Miriam, now, so that we can be able to have civic engagement and discourse.
Yes, absolutely. This is when they should come in and help in the
now,
efforts that the government
this work
has
to be
already
done
put
now.
in place to
This
create
work
awareness.
which Soros needs to fund them.
Yes, Wamesikia. Mwaji sasa, this is where Kenyans need their help and to sensitize and to create awareness around COVID-19, especially the vaccine. And, we will commit to be having this conversation every now and then so that we're able to give out and share information as much as we can, because we cannot have waited for a whole year and then you're coming up telling us that, it's not even necessary. Come on now. That is irresponsible on their part. And while the Catholic Church there has a bit of confusion with their doctor, another person that is at Catch-22 will be President Uhuru Kenyatta, as he is expected to address the nation on Friday when COVID-19 restrictions imposed in January lapse, with sources suggesting the night curfew won't be lifted yet. The head of state's address coinciding with 1 year since the first coronavirus case was reported in the country is anticipated by most Kenyans keen to know the fate of the curfew enforced between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. Since January. So today I'll not talk about what we expect the president to say on Friday. I think we shall look at it then on our show, God willing, tukifika huko. But for today, what I want us to look at, the night curfew. Should it be lifted or not? I'll start with you, Douglas. I'll go to Javen.
Thank you, Miriam.
Okay.
Thank you, Miriam. And one thing that we need to, from my From my point of opinion, Miriam, I think I don't know whether I'll say like the deputy president. I'll sit on the fence because Miriam, the curfew, Miriam. One, we must agree that there are a lot of political rallies going around the country. People are gathering without observing the government protocols.
True.
People are doing their business as they used to do when we didn't have COVID-19. Therefore, by doing that, the relevance of having the night curfew sheds away. Therefore, it could be proper, Miriam, if we are observing other protocols, then we can continue extending the night curfew. But Miriam, look at the political rallies that we have been having in Mombasa, in Kajiado, in Narok, across the country. People are not wearing masks, Miriam. Now, even when you go to a mask, Miriam, and this is the reality, when you wear your mask and you go to public, people suspect you. People start running away from you because they see that you are ordinary, you are odd one out, Miriam. Therefore, I think to me, if the government will not continue ensuring strict adherence to other measures, the night curfew should be lifted. People should continue doing their business because, Miriam, the COVID, the virus spreads even during the day and during these political rallies. Today we have information that the former Prime Minister is admitted somewhere. I don't know, and he is waiting for his COVID results. Miriam, if it happens to be that he is positive, Miriam, or he is negative, how about the masses who crowded around him when he was in Mombasa, when he was in Kwale? Therefore, we need, as a people, the government should ensure that if it's adherent to the government and the Minister of Health protocols, it should not be only at the night, but also during the day. Therefore, Miriam, to me, I think it should be wise if the government will not make sure that we adhere to other regulations, wearing of masks, washing our hands. They should also lift the night curfews. Miriam, these days, when you go to towns, like here in Anyuki, in Nyeri, clubs are opened 24 hours. People are not observing the protocols. People are drunk. They are just doing their business as usual. When you go to the market, the same is happening. Therefore, and even Miriam, the points where you used to wash our hands, they are no longer there. There is no water in our shops. Therefore, this shows that the people have become reluctant. Government has not made it by force. But Miriam, you know, in this country, when the security officers are asked to apply and to ensure they maintain law and order, they come and they be brutal, and to a point where people now become resistant. I think we need also to come in both ways. The government should come in, and the people as Kenyans. We, the people, we are the main people, the main actors who can make the work of the government easy by ensuring that we adhere to these laws. But on my humble opinion, Miriam, the night curfew should be uplifted if the government would not make us adhere to other protocols.
The rest of the protocols, and even as the reluctance to follow some of these protocols that have been given. By the way, with World Health Organization, experts in the country have warned that the country could be staring at a third wave of the virus that could be more devastating. Douglas, the night curfew, should it be lifted or not?
Miriam, as we all know that the whole of the country has gone back to business, and everyone now, it has been left to individuals, and including when the president was doing the last address, he said that it is now up to you for you to continue looking after yourself, because Miriam, the containment measures and all that, the government has done everything that they could. Now, anything that happens to you, it is your responsibility, Miriam. And that was a clarion call to each and every person, to each and every business that conducts business in this country. Because Miriam, the first month when lockdown was brought into this country, the containment measures, the first 3 months, I have never seen dry months economically like those ones. I have never experienced such worry in my life. I have never been worried about my life and how death can come very soon, especially for businesses and everything. We could not move, we could not go out of the house because we feared that corona is with the next person, because we were told that if you are not in, you don't have COVID, the next person has COVID. But now, on the issue of the curfew should be lifted. This curfew should be lifted because, Miriam, we need to very focus on this. Businesses have opened. People are moving around even without mask, without even looking after themselves. And these businesses are being affected, and our economy is being affected, Miriam. I think in the next address, the president should just lift the curfew instead of taking us around in circles. Because this curfew from 10 Miriam to 4 a.m., corona does not move at night. That is the basic talk in the villages and also towns and everywhere. Coronavirus does not move when these people are asleep. Coronavirus moves when I go to the market without a face mask, without washing my hands, and without observing the containment measures and all, without protecting myself, Miriam, and protecting my loved ones. Again, even with the vaccine, coronavirus does not move at night. Coronavirus moves when we don't take care of our loved ones, when we don't take care of ourselves, or when we don't care about our country. And Miriam, because Kenyans are people who have obeyed their government and also directives from Ministry of Health and also the containment measures. Kenyans are not defiant like some people in the region. Kenyans are going to adhere to that, and the president should address it directly and put the ball again in the courts of Kenyans and caution them, because a third wave is here. But Miriam, we have seen even with the first and the second wave, we have seen Kenyans who have drawn caution to the wind and continued that. And I've said, when I was addressing the issue of a vaccine in the Catholic Church, Miriam, this thing, when you die, it is you that dies. It is not the government. Government will continue. When you are a president, you die today, and someone will replace you tomorrow. If you are sacked tomorrow because you died because of COVID, your family is not going to replace you. It is you that will go. So these things should be placed under the door of Kenyans, and this curfew be lifted, Miriam. For example, you are already trying to look for your daily bread. You have almost 2 masks or 3 masks on your face, you have gloves and everything, and you got it. Police officers are going to arrest you. When you get out there, you are going to part with the $20 or 2,000 Kenya shillings. So Miriam, this thing, Uhuru should stop, President Uhuru Kenyatta should stop the police from stealing from Kenyans. In this corona period, we have no money. This corona curfew should be lifted so that Kenyans can look after themselves, Miriam, because the police officers have made a kill for over now a year. When this curfew came, they have been stealing from Kenyans, Miriam. They even arrested me and they tore my mask in town one day, Miriam. That was very sad of them. I had to invoke the name of some senior officer in the forces so that they had to release me. They almost wanted to take 5,000 from me, Miriam. They handcuffed me, Miriam. I had a very nice
Did you not wash
face
your
mask.
hands? What was the problem? What was the problem?
No. They were angry. They didn't get anyone to arrest, so they saw me and arrested me that I didn't have a face mask. And I had a 995, Miriam. Very expensive mask, Miriam. Thank you.
Maybe one of them was blind or something. They did not see your 995 mask. I'm so sorry, Douglas. But a lot of stuff you said there, I think, quite important. And I hope that President Magufuli is probably watching and listening. He needs that information. How dare you, President Magufuli? Okay, I'll not even get into the details there. After victimizing Kenyans and Kenya for a very long time, for a year now.
Honestly, what Douglas is saying is the truth. Instead, you know what, Miriam?
Mm-hmm.
The police should be able to work the way I do, Miriam.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to national ethos, Miriam, I work with the face masks in Miriam.
Mm-hmm.
I work. When I find a Kenyan who doesn't have, I just give.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, police should be having face masks so that they will be giving Kenyans. They are a police service, not a police force.
Well, they're called police force. I'm actually trying force. Okay, thank you so much, Musa. The night curfew. Do we still need it or not? And something there that Douglas has said that we remember the first time we were Kenyans were really paying attention to what CS Mutahi Kagwe was saying, and he was saying if you have to wear your mask because if you don't have it, think as though your neighbor could be having it. And right now we are thinking herd immunity. Wrong information. Night curfew, yes or no? Musa.
Miriam, I think to make the question direct to its point, is that the people who have lost their lives, Miriam, in this country from COVID-19, I will blame it not on anyone. I will blame it not on President Uhuru Kenyatta. I will not blame it. I will blame it on the leaders who have been campaigning, Miriam.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what has been happening in Matungu. Look at what has been happening in our vicinities, Miriam. Leaders are working without mask. So you're asking yourself, what is the role of institutional and policy enforcement? Is it that we've made it in a way that politics even overrides our health status in this country, Miriam?
Mm-hmm.
And I know very well up to now there are some politicians who are moving in at night. Night curfew is nothing to them. The only thing they need is a motor vehicle. I don't know, they call it a chaser or something like that, which they put on those sirens lights and to threaten people out of the way. The serious problem we have here is that, Miriam, a common mwananchi cannot accept, a common mwananchi cannot follow curfew rules, regulations of Ministry of Health on masking and how they can protect themselves using sanitizers and washing of hands regularly, if indeed the leaders themselves are not doing the same, Miriam. Look at our leaders. Deputy President William Ruto doesn't care. And now that even brings another aspect of narrative of the hustler. So it means in his 2022 campaign, and when he becomes the president, health is not going to be a priority. That is what we are being told, Miriam, in a more symbolic manner. Look at the way our leaders have been behaving, Miriam. I know very well. And I started to be corrected from former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, John Pombe Magufuli, Pierre Nkurunziza, all the presidents and leaders of this continent who have been suffering from one illness or another. Were it not for COVID-19 restriction, Miriam, all of them could have been in London, Madrid, United States of America, China, and Dubai into these big hospitals, Miriam. And this reflects to how prepared are we as this country as far as issues of health and pandemic breakout is concerned, Miriam. Nowadays, I'm really happy to see Nairobi Hospital trending. I don't know, the other one which is trending, sometimes Kenyans are very funny, is Lee Funeral. But I'm good, at least we are now putting a good use into our system, Miriam. Today, if an MCA passes away, he will not be taken to a very expensive mortuary, Miriam. He will be taken to the local village mortuary and things will be done. We deal with you quickly, Miriam. So there are a few things to pick from, but my advice to the president is that the curfew should stay on, Miriam, because of one thing. I agree that many government and economic activities are carried during the day. It's a 12-hour economy for Kenya. It's not a 24-hour economy. So I believe the curfew at night, and usually, that traveling from one place to another, Miriam, and the fact that schools have opened poses another risk here. So I believe now the same approach which was used when coronavirus came on identifying hotspots, maybe he can lift the curfew time on other counties which have reported really lower cases, Miriam. But the hotspot, that is Mombasa and Nairobi and other some areas, they should still remain with the curfew regulation, Miriam.
Mm-hmm. All right. Very well, thank you so much, Musa, the professor. Javan and also Musa has raised this question here of the selective implementation of some of these measures that have been supposed to have been in place to ensure to curb the spread of COVID-19 in the country. And there has been the question of these rallies that we see around the country, and now our children are back in school. Of course, the government, ordered for media not to go to the schools and cover how, the learning is going with the challenges that COVID-19 has posed, and for good reasons, because I think the media, the way it was portraying what is happening in our schools, even parents at home are getting very anxious. Personally, although I know my son is safe at his school, but, a lot of parents are getting very anxious. So I do understand why the government felt it was important to keep off, the media from going and accessing these schools during this time. But the selective implementation and the double standards we see, the night curfews continue, but the rallies and the leaders, and we've seen it. I saw the one in Meru. Kanini mentioned you, Douglas. It had a lot of people there, big crowd. A majority of Kenyans there, and across other rallies that we've seen, majority of Kenyans there do not have masks on, and the police around there will not do anything. But if they find you walking across around or breaking the curfew hours, they will arrest you. The double standards there. Professor? All right. The professor is not there, so I will go to Doug.
I'm here.
Okay. Go ahead. The double standard.
The $1 million question here is, Miriam, do we open or not open? Miriam, the most informed person in any country is the president of the country. Why? He has got this intelligence as his fingertips, Miriam. I have pronounced myself, Miriam, now that we know what needs to be done. At least we have adjusted. And the animals which walks in the night are very dangerous, Miriam. And Miriam, we are entering the third wave. And why did you even bring that night curfew when the numbers were down? Or when we were expecting the numbers to do. So from where I sit, Miriam, science never lies. Research gives you facts the way they are. So from where I don't want to spend much of the time here, Miriam, here is that from the kind of information we have, yes, we know the business are suffering, people have suffered, the people have lost their livelihood, Miriam. It is better you lose the livelihood, Miriam, to be alive, because better days are always in the future.
Mm-hmm.
In the Nasser, I'm trying to tell you, the president, don't open. Countries like UK, Miriam, like Australia, like anywhere in the world, they don't. That's one area, Miriam, where we are not going to negotiate. And in terms whether people are wearing masks or not wearing masks, Miriam, here East, we have got the law. If you break the law, you be charged. You be arrested and be charged in a court of law. So if the police, the security officers are not doing their work, Miriam, let them not sleep on their work. Let them just implement the law. Let them enforce the law. That's what happens. In fact, when you see you are like the deputy president was in Meru over the weekend, I could see him not wearing the masks. Why don't they arrest him? Why? We are all equal before the law. I see the president wearing, wherever, most of the times I see the president when he's in public, he wears the mask. Some of these readers, our readers, Miriam, they must read by example. And Musa was trying to say that the funeral home and the other places are very active. Yes, Corona is not a respecter of human beings or persons. It doesn't know your status in the search. It gets you, are gone. So, Miriam, we are in the pandemic. Let us try to save, and I hope the president will do what is the best interest of the country, the way he has ever done in the past.
Okay. Very well, thank you. And one of our viewers here, Abdin Gurusi, thank you so much for engaging with us. You're saying night curfews to remain in place, but the problem in Kenya is selective application of the law. The adherence of the law is meant to a common man, but not the powerful in government. Now, owners of businesses, especially bars that now close at 9 p.m., night travel companies and other enterprises that thrive at night are waiting with bated breath for President's communication on the fate for the current COVID-19 restrictions that are set to expire on March 12th after having been extended for a further 60 days in January. The President directives are informed by the advice from the National Emergency Response Committee on Coronavirus and the National Security Advisory Committee. By last evening, both committees were yet to present their recommendations to the President. So the people who own businesses and whose businesses a lot of times thrive at night really have suffered the brunt of this COVID-19. So will this not, by extension of the night curfew, how do you think they will be affected? Javen, no, Douglas.
Thank you, Miriam. And that is the point that I was trying to make when I was saying that many people, for example, today, if a small business meeting extends and I have to be out by 10 p.m., I will be arrested, Miriam. And also small business people are claiming that their businesses, they are not claiming, I see it. Everyone sees it. The president knows it. He moves around this nation. He is the most informed, like Professor says, he's the most informed man in the country. He knows what is going on with these businesses. Mm-hmm. And also, Miriam, I told you that ordinary Kenyans in rural areas, they don't wear masks. Deputy President actually was greeting people. Remember, these leaders are also the ones that are contracting coronavirus at the high speed. He came from Karen and boarded a chopper after interacting with Kenyans all over the country. He went for 3 days on a spree of greeting people in Meru County. Remember, Miriam, these leaders are not anti-corona. Remember, there is a regional leader that is sleeping in an hospital bed now. He cannot breathe. Before he told the people, don't wear a mask, don't wash your hands. Coronavirus is a scheme from the West and all manner of things. And they said that people need to do practice, take some lemon water and all that. But why would the Deputy President William Ruto go putting our lives as the residents of Meru County at risk? Thank God that I didn't see him so that I can greet him so that I can contract coronavirus. I'm not saying that he has coronavirus, but we were told by Mutahi Kagwe, the Minister for Health, that Miriam, if you don't have coronavirus, the next person is a suspect until you are proved to have no coronavirus. And in this country, Miriam, businesses have been suffering. People are suffering because of this curfew. And small businesses who are supposed to be making small monies, long distance travels, people, the other day we saw the SGR was exempted from the curfew. Miriam, buses should also be exempted from the curfew. If I want to go to Mombasa at night using my car, I don't have to pay the SGR. I have to use my car. If I want to go to Nakuru. And Miriam, we know that this country almost ran a 24-hour economy, especially for the people in the transport sector. These people have been affected, and also the question from the ground, does coronavirus move from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. when everyone is at home and sleeping? And those are not my ones, Miriam. Those are ones of ordinary Kenyans in the streets. They are saying that this curfew should be removed and every Kenyan should be told, actually, we can have a presidential address every week like the US. The government spokesperson should, or the State House spokesperson should be reminding Kenyans that if you contract the coronavirus, you are on your own, like the president said. Because, Miriam, we are seeing that 2 former presidents in our region have died. Very mighty men. Coronavirus does not care whether you are poor or rich. When you die, Miriam. Mm-hmm. When you die of coronavirus, you are going to go and Kenya is going to move on. So, Miriam, if this corona curfew is removed and small businesses come back to their normal operating hours, because they have been operating before, Miriam, and also now they operate, especially now if you go to the marketplace, the woman that will sell you your vegetable supplies for your whole week, they are not covered by any face mask. They are not washing their hands. You are not supposed to wash your hands as you are entering the marketplace. And even the people that sell you sell products at supermarket coming to explain to you, they will come near your ears. No face mask, no nothing. And they will want to risk your life and let you die for nothing, Miriam. Mm-hmm. So we need to have this culture before Kenyans are adhered to this, and everyone, you could not get anywhere. When coronavirus restrictions started, I went to a bank I couldn't be ready to enter the door of the bank because I had no face mask. No matter how smartly I was dressed, I was told, young man, go and get a face mask. And I had to comply and went and took a face mask and came with it. Kenyans need to take their destiny into their hands and their health should come first. But this corona curfew, Miriam, the ordinary people on the ground, in Meru, everywhere, they are saying this is affecting small business owners. And these are the drivers of the economy, including when the President of the Republic goodwill is at high, is at all-time high the way it is now. He cannot be able to help us move and maneuver this economic upheaval that we have been brought by coronavirus if businesses are not given an opportunity to compete competitively and also fairly, because this coronavirus has been able to cross so many people behind, because a business that was crossing at 11 p.m. is no longer crossing at 10 or 11 because they have to go take matatus and go home. Small economic drivers, the small business people, the transport sector, everyone has suffered under this corona curfew, Miriam. It should be removed so that Kenyans can take destiny into their hands, Miriam. They have said, and those are their ones, those don't represent my thoughts as a human. They have said this coronavirus does not move from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m.
Okay, very well. Thank you so much. And speaking about economy, we know President Uhuru Kenyatta was quite ambitious in wanting Kenya to be a 24-hour economy. This corona seems to have murdered that dream. Only a few, parts of or sectors of our economy are able to operate like that. As we conclude, Jevan Karanja, what would you advise the President to do, to lift the curfew or not?
Thank you, Miriam. And I still hold my previous flow of thought that a president should ensure that if it's about adhering to the law, implementation should not be done selectively. He should ensure that people maintain social distance. Our place of worship, people adhere to the government protocols. And also, if it's about extending the curfew, Miriam, it should be done and ensure that other protocols are put in place and are adhered to. But if that one will not happen, Miriam, I don't see the need of having the night curfew. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Musa.
Thank you, Miriam. I think my humble submission is, at night, we have a lot of these clubs are opening at night, Miriam, and before the curfew came, you could see a club, it's a place of social gathering. People really attend in numbers. You could see people coming from all sides of the, town or a village, attending to that. We have a lot of musicians, concert, and, plays in these theaters, in these stadiums. So actually, when you say, these virus does not move at night, I stand to be corrected. And even leave apart from that, Miriam, we have a lot of people interacting and, the places of, social gatherings, which are usually active at night, and, how many people come in and go out, how many people, the hotels, Miriam. When you see the hotels which are really functioning, people coming from one town to another, sleeping in that hotel, people tend to move in at night, and then during the day, they do their job. So usually, whatever is happening during the day, it's planned at night, Miriam. And I believe as far as this, reorganization is concerned, I'm still skeptical of, people not saying that we should remove, this curfew. And actually, I'm even emphasizing the president, even if it's possible, we could restrict it even to, 9, Miriam, and 9 p.m. For what I'm seeing here, for what I'm envisioning, Miriam, is what has happened in Tanzania. They really enjoyed and they said, Corona is gone, nothing is going to stop us. And even with the coming of vaccine, Miriam, there is this issue. You testing negative today doesn't mean you are not going to be infected with Corona forever. You might test negative today, tomorrow you have it, Miriam. Vaccine, I've read some articles here, across the American newspapers and, some journals, Miriam. It is effective. But now the problem is, Miriam, should the government burden itself buying over 20 or 15 million vaccines, injecting everyone while we can have an alternative means of protecting ourselves? Remember, Miriam, we are a country, we are now under a very strict budget cut, Miriam. And purchasing such kind of things, again, it might be a subjugation or, delaying our economic, turnover and sort of the taxes we are trying, the government is really struggling to pay, Miriam. So my humble submission is, if indeed the political and the selective implementation of this policy shall persist, then let the curfew be removed. If indeed the government is serious in curbing these political events and people maneuvering around anyhowly, then let the curfew be installed, Miriam. Thank you.
Okay. Perhaps that's what will happen to the campaigns here, BBI, even as Kenya gears to go to the referendum there. And speaking about the economy as we conclude, although the full effect of COVID-19 on the economy will be known in May when the National Economic Survey is released, the International Monetary Fund has projected that it will shrink by 0.3%. By September last year, just 5 months into the pandemic, Kenya's unemployment rate had doubled to 10.4% as compared to 5.2% in March. During this period, the number of employed individuals shrank by 1.9 million from 17.8 million to 15.9 million. That is serious. Now, since then, the number of those who have lost their jobs has risen, so has the number of COVID-19 infections and deaths. And to date, almost all countries that instituted some form of lockdown are yet to fully remove their restrictions. In East Africa, it is only Tanzania which has never fully admitted to the existence of COVID-19 within its borders, and Burundi, which do not have any form of restriction. Tanzania. All right, very well. Thank you so much, Professor Jared Onyari. Thank you, Douglas Kirimi. Thank you, Musa Abdi Haji, and thank you, Jeven Karanja. My name is Miriam Ogoto. Thank you so much for watching. I shall be back with Diaspora Dispatches.
Very well, Miriam.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.